You're listening to Where You Live with Gene and Tony.
We're back. This is Where You Live with Gene and Tony. We're broadcasting from the Natural Green Lawn and Landscape Studios. We're brought to you by American Family Insurance, the Kim Bennett Agency, and Extreme Exteriors. You can count on Extreme Exteriors for expert installation of exterior siding, roofing, soffits, fascia, decks, windows, and much more. With their knowledge and experience, they can design the perfect solution to make your home beautiful and energy efficient, saving you maintenance and money for years to come. Call Extreme Exteriors at 763-441-1334 and tell them Gene and Tony sent you. Time now to hear from the Community Associations Institute. The CAI Minute is brought to you by New Concepts Rental Management. Whether you're an accidental landlord or a seasoned investor, New Concepts Rental Management can help you achieve your financial goals. New Concepts Rental Management can advise and guide you through every aspect of the business. Give me a call, Tony Crockett, at New Concepts Rental Management, 952-922-2500.
Are you a member of the Community Associations Institute? For nearly 40 years, CAI has provided education and resources to volunteer homeowners who govern community associations and the professionals who support them. Visit caionline.org to learn more. That address again is caionline.org. CAI helps community association board members by providing online resources, in-person training, and hard copy publications written by association management experts. CAI offers community managers professional development, networking opportunities, and a certification program that's established as the industry standard nationwide. Minnesota has its own chapter of the Community Associations Institute to bring resources and tools from community associations around the country right to your home. Visit CAIMN.com to learn more and become a member of CAI today. Your community and management company will benefit from your involvement. Join the Community Associations Institute today at CAIMN.com and click on Membership.
I'd like to remind our listeners that we value your feedback and your ideas. Isn't that right, Gene?
That's right, we do.
Do you think it's a true statement to say that we've become more opinionated over the years as we've done this radio show? Or at least we've let our opinions be known more and more?
I would say yes. We've always held those opinions, but we feel comfortable in sharing them.
That's right, we do. So if you agree with us, call us. If you disagree with us, call us.
We want to hear that too?
Yep. Our hotline number is 952-224-2668. That's 952-224-2668. And let us know what's on your mind.
Mm-hmm. Or go to our website, www.newconceptsgroup.com. You can click on the page for the radio show, and we've got all our contact information if you want to send us an email as well. We'll read that any responses we get from our listeners on the following week's show. Mm-hmm. Well, we're talking about this terrible situation in Dallas. The Sable Ridge condominiums, people above had a dog that they allowed to defecate, urinate on the patio. It was dripping down. The guy below was aggravated, clearly. And
I've seen this before. Have you ever seen this at an association? I managed an association several years ago that was quad homes.
Yeah.
So fortunately, the deck wasn't right above someone else, but the person was in the habit of just letting the dog out on the deck to do its business, especially in the winter. So you'd go by in the winter and you'd see this yellow ice and yellow icicles hanging from the deck. So it was pretty obvious what was going on.
We didn't have that. We had another condominium association where people had those retractable leashes. And what they would do is they would open the door, let the dog out to the 20, 30 feet, close the door, and so you would have this arc of a 30-foot range where you had all of these little landmines of dog poop.
So they were obeying the letter of the law, right? The dog was on a leash, and they were holding on to one end.
It was let outside.
Oh, my gosh.
But, I mean...
But anyway, in this situation, a neighbor actually killed his neighbors.
That's right. He shot them because of this action, and we're told that the reason why was the management company, the association, was not being effective in getting this couple to stop. And what we were saying right before the break was there's only so much that an association can do. They have the power to fine, but we know in the last couple years there are a number of legislatures around the country that have been wanting to limit
that power,
the power of the association to be able to even do that, because they see the association as this dictatorial group that has way more power than they should. But here we have a situation where someone said they're not using their power. Well,
the power is very limited, and yet there's plenty of blame to heap on the HOA board, and it makes it an impossible situation.
Now, there's a couple of things that I said I think could be done.
Yeah, what could have been done differently, Gene?
An effective management company and a homeowner association board would realize that they are limited in terms of their ability to get compliance. So why not use the other resources that are available to you? You are still living in a city, in a municipality, and they have these same ordinances that the association does. And I bet you that a call placed to, for example, Health and Human Services, have someone come out, they would be able to send out an inspector, see that someone is breaking health codes with the way this dog is defecating and urinating, and now the city has a little more that they can do. They can give a citation and a fine. They can send someone to court. If they don't comply, the police can come out and have them arrested.
Good point.
And so you can use another resource that has a lot more ability to get compliance. Why not use that?
Yeah, people tend to forget that. The members and owners in an association don't think of that. How many times have you come into work on a Monday morning and someone has left a message at 1 a.m. Sunday morning complaining about the noise of a party next door? Same
thing.
And you know what? You call the police in that regard. And wherever you live, right? If noise is disturbing you. I certainly can't do anything about it Monday morning. This is another case where you could call the police, you could call the city inspectors, and call animal control.
And another aspect here that I think was being overlooked, I don't know if you were able to catch it, but they were quoting this Channel 11 News in Dallas, a couple of the neighbors, and they were getting quotes from them. There was one neighbor who said, boy, my kids play with the kids of the people upstairs who are letting the dog out.
Yeah.
And I've got to stop and ask the question, where is the sense of community and common sense and accountability with one another? That person is allowing his children to play in a home, and he knows that it says the neighbors were aware that this was taking place for about a year.
Yeah.
Where was this gentleman's sense of duty to say to the people that he is letting his child go over and play at their home and say, hey, why don't you knock it off?
Yeah.
What are you doing to this person below you and allowing the dog's feces and urination just to drip down below on their patio?
Yeah.
I think there is a responsibility that neighbors and people have in a community where they live. And I think that's gone. I think people feel like I don't have any responsibility here, but everybody else does.
Well, this is the situation where you start when you look at the HOA as your landlord, you're designating all responsibility to that HOA. I would venture to say in a single family neighborhood in South Minneapolis, if you have a complaint or an issue with a neighbor, you either put up or you go talk to that person. Or you call the city, correct? You would never think, who else would you call? But in these homeowner associations, for some reason, they get that landlord-tenant mentality that just puts all personal responsibility aside.
Yes, and you can't, that doesn't get checked at the door or checked at the gate when you start driving to the HOA. Well, let's deal with another story here. This is something that you brought up, and I think we'll have just enough time to frame the story, Tony. And this is in Minnesota about renters' rights.
That's right. There's a case going to the Minnesota Supreme Court yesterday, regarding renters' rights in the state of Minnesota. We talked about this issue about a year ago, that it was raised, and now it's actually going to court. What has happened in some communities, it sounds like, is that when the city, the police, or inspections department becomes concerned about a household, they are doing apparently surprise inspections to see what's going on in that household. This is what the renters' rights people are afraid of.
So they're using inspectors to get
inside,
spy and to see what's going on.
Well, that's right. And the tenants' rights folks say, and this is the Institute for Justice in Minnesota, say, you know what, this isn't right. If you're going inside someone's home for some reason other than actually doing a legitimate inspection, you need a warrant. So that's what they're going to decide in the Supreme Court.
Okay. All right. Well, let's take a break. When we come back, let's talk about that. And we're going to turn our focus for the rest of the show on what's happening in our state here in Minnesota with the courts and at the legislature. So don't go away. A lot more of Where You Live with Gene and Tony after these messages.